Hi, welcome to the video. I'm going to show you a little bit about how I've decided to use easel pads to create maps for Pathfinder Society scenarios. And I have to say right up front that this is an idea that I borrowed very heavily from Purple Fluffy Cat Bunny Gnome, so it's really his or her idea. So let's take a look at what we've got. So down here you can see that we've got an easel pad, and it's in, I don't know if you can see, but it's in grids. So it's like a gigantic piece of graph paper, and they come with 50 sheets per pad, and they're about $15–16 each, but you can get them a little cheaper if you buy in bulk. If you just search easel pad grid on Amazon, you'll find them. And so what we have over here is the actual finished product with cat hair on it. And what I did when I brought this to our game was I put a couple sheets, because it's kind of thin, I put a couple sheets of blank pages in between each map, and then I had the maps ordered in the order that they were likely to encounter those areas. So that I could just put the whole set down and then just peel them back as we hit each part of the scenario. So, so to start, there was nothing there, and then the first encounter, I'm not going to say what scenario this is, just in case you're going to play it and you haven't done it yet. And this is a woodland sort of scene. So these areas here are copses of trees, and then this is a fireplace. And these squares are exactly the right size for minis. And so there's that one. And then after that we had sort of a swamp or marsh. People who've GM'd might be able to figure out what scenario this is. We got a fallen log and some big branches and whatnot, and then these are the paths through the marsh. And then the last one was more complicated, and got help from my daughter on this one with the waves. And let's see. So this is the dockside tavern. So you've got a boat here and docks, and then these are tables and chairs and everything, and a big aquarium in the center here. So that's pretty much it. What we used to draw these were Sharpie markers. Again, you can get this 7-pack on Amazon for really not too much, and they work pretty well. One thing I would mention is that, again, because the paper is thin, it will bleed through. And so what I did was I tore off the page I was about to draw the map on, and then flipped the easel map over. You can kind of see the tavern, some of the brown and blue from that, just so that it wouldn't bleed into the next page, which would be a waste. The last thing, and this is kind of my idea, though I'm sure other people have come up with this as well, is to have, to create, using transparencies, area effect sort of things. So this is a 20-foot, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a 20-foot radius. So for a spell effect, I don't know if that would be like fireball or something like that, and then the center of the spell is right there. So if you have a mini, this is the mini that I use for my 2nd level druid, Wongi druid, Marisan. So if she's here and she casts a spell, although this isn't the best place for a druid to be casting, if she casts a spell with a 20-foot radius centered here, then you could just lay that down and everybody would know that that's the area of effect for the spell. And if you wanted to get fancy, like with Entangle, you could actually draw green vines on it or so forth, although Entangle would be a very big one because it's 40-foot radius. Now this has got nothing on it, and you could create different ones with different colors to distinguish them. But I've got other ones as well. So for example, if we go over here, that would be a 30-foot cone. Now 30-foot cones are not usually duration spells, they're usually instantaneous, but there are some exceptions, so I just decided to create that. And then we have squares, like so this I created for a grease spell, but it could also be a pit or a trap. So these things, at first I was thinking just about using them for spell effects, but they could also be used for traps and other hidden things that people might encounter. The one thing that I haven't gotten to use all that much with this idea, this basic approach, is to what happens if people are going through a dungeon and you're revealing one room at a time. My thinking right now is that I would just cut out the right sized rooms and then have a blank piece of paper like this, and then just attach or lay them down as they discover those rooms, rather than having the whole thing on one piece of paper and then trying to cover them up, which might be a little bit tricky. So that's pretty much it. Hope this is useful to some people. And one of the things that I was thinking about, one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because time is such an issue. Whenever you're playing Pathfinder Society, you want to make sure you get through the scenario in the allotted amount of time, and this will prevent the time that it takes to actually draw out the maps live in front of your players. And I find that I'm a much better drawer if I have time to actually recreate what I'm looking for. If I'm doing it on the fly, it's going to look like garbage. So I think these come out better, and they're reusable, especially with the area effect things. You can prevent from having to draw on the actual maps most of the time. So if you encounter another scenario that uses the same or a similar map, then you're not doing your work all over again. So again, that's it. Till next time, see you later.